They came in droves and they came in the rain. One Florida voter even came covered in bubble wrap to stay dry. This image is hilarious. Some 350,000 people cast ballots in Florida yesterday, shattering a record for the first day of in-person voting. They will sit atop a monster pile of mail-in ballots. More than 2.5 million have already been returned. But more than 13,000 of those mail-in ballots have already been rejected. Mismatched signatures are one of the primary reasons. And in a state where the presidential race is so close, the finish could be measured in inches, not yards, maybe even just a few thousand votes. One Florida elections expert is warning the mismatched signature could be the hanging chad of 2020. In other words, Florida could be ripe for legal challenges on November 4th, the day after the election. Joining me now is the man behind that warning, Daniel Smith. He is the chair of the Department of Political Science at the University of Florida. Dan, really good to have you on this. Let's talk about mismatched signatures. How exactly do elections officials there determine a match? I know in a place like Connecticut, they've got a Republican and they got a Democrat looking over every single ballot, and both of them have to agree that the signature matches what they have on file. How does it work in Florida?
Well, it's not necessarily a bipartisan effort in Florida. You have members of the canvassing board, 3 members. You have a partisan supervisor of elections. You have usually a county judge and a county commissioner. And the commissioner and the supervisor are partisan. So there's a lot of judgment that goes into these signatures and whether or not they match the wet signature on the back of an envelope with the digitized signature that's on file.
So if there is a dispute about a signature, if a voter doesn't get alerted, hold on, before we get there, does a voter get alerted that their ballot has been rejected because of a signature or for any other reason before the election?
Yes, a voter does get notified, but I love the code from the state statute. As soon as practicable, that a supervisor of election needs to alert a voter. And so obviously there's a lot of discretion in that, as well as looking at whether a signature matches or not. Mismatched signatures, Katie, I should put into broader perspective, are just one of several ways that a ballot might not count. Obviously, a missing signature on the back of an envelope is going to be flagged for rejection unless it is cured by a voter. And of course, we're going to have tens of thousands, if not 100,000 ballots coming in after Election Day. In Florida, ballots have to arrive by 7 p.m. on election night, no later.
So you said that this could be the hanging chad of the 2020 election. When there are legal challenges, if there are legal challenges to some of these ballots and these signature mismatches, what's it going to look like? Who's going to be the decider of whether a signature does actually match or whether a voter was notified in time, as you said, practicable time to get their ballot in again?
Yeah, I think there are several points in which we're going to see some controversy. One is whether or not all these voters, right now we're only at 13,000. That's about 0.6% of the 2.6 million that have been returned already. But the first question is whether or not all voters are going to be contacted by a supervisor of elections. Right now we have folks on the grounds, party operatives, campaign operatives, as well as nonpartisan voting rights groups who are trying desperately to reach out to these voters. Psychologically, it's really difficult to convince voters who have already voted by mail, have either dropped it off in person or put it in the mail, that their ballot might not count right now because of a missing or a mismatched signature. So there's a steep road to climb with respect to contacting these individuals in the first place. There will be legal challenges whether or not some of these supervisors did their due diligence in reaching out to them in a speedy manner.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.